Welcome to Home with Justin. Picture this classic cottage scene together. A tidy brick path leading to a welcoming front door, a neat white picket fence framing a ribbon of flower beds, window boxes brimming with color, and clipped lawns stepping between bright seasonal accents. That composition shows how modest elements, structure, repetition, and careful planting combine to create a landscape that feels both lived in and cared for. The plan that follows will guide us through reading the site, choosing plants and materials, planting well, and building easy maintenance routines, so this front garden becomes a reliable, beautiful part of everyday life. Start by reading the site with clear, practical eyes. Walk the approach and note how the porch and windows frame views. Observe sun and shade patterns during the day, identify prevailing wind directions, and test the soil texture and drainage in a few spots. Measure the widths of beds and the path so plant choices fit the scale. Note access points for mowing and maintenance and consider sight lines from the street and from inside the house. Those views matter most. These observations will shape decisions about where to place taller shrubs, where to keep low edges, and which plants will thrive in each microspot. Establish structure first. The white picket fence, the lawn run, and the path provide the garden's bones. Keep those structural elements tidy, because they make seasonal planting read as intentional. Use low evergreen hedging or clipped boxwood to give year-round definition along the fence or near the foundation. Place 1 or 2 small specimen shrubs or compact trees near the corners or flanking the door to anchor the composition. Structure reduces reliance on flowers alone for impact, and ensures the garden reads well even when seasonal blooms are quiet. Create a coherent plant palette by choosing a few key repeats. The charm of a cottage front garden comes from repeating a handful of plant types in drifts rather than scattering many unrelated species. Pick 2 or 3 dominant plants for recurring presence. One for early season impact, one for midsummer color, and one for fall interest. Complement these with a low-edge plant and a seasonal annual for windows and containers. A restrained palette makes the whole frontage feel cohesive and makes care simpler. Fewer needs to track, and less to go wrong. Plan the composition with scale and layers. Place taller shrubs or small flowering trees closer to the house, so they frame windows without blocking views. Use mid-height shrubs and perennials in the middle band and low-edging plants or ground covers near the brick path and fence. Plant in odd-numbered groups, 3s and 5s, so groupings read as natural and pleasing. Stagger heights and textures to avoid a rigid planted row. Let plants overlap gently so borders feel lush and connected rather than segmented. Match plant choices to the site conditions. For sunny, well-drained beds, choose reliable flowering shrubs and perennials. Roses, lavender, salvia, coneflowers, and hardy geraniums perform well and reward with long bloom times. For shadier or damper sites, favor hydrangeas, heuchera, astilbe, and ferns. Include low-maintenance evergreen forms, dwarf boxwood, yew or euonymus, to hold shape through winter. Add bulbs beneath shrubs for early spring shine. Tulips and daffodils offer bright kickoff blooms before perennials fill in. Design window boxes and containers to echo the border. Use matching containers or repeating color accents to tie the whole look together. For window boxes, select shallow-rooted annuals and trailing plants, petunias calibrachoa, lobelia, and sweet alyssum, paired with a small, upright center plant like a dwarf geranium or rosemary. Ensure boxes have good drainage and a lightweight, well-draining potting mix. Replenish or rotate containers seasonally to keep the porch and windows lively. Prepare soil properly to set plants up for success. Clear perennial weeds and loosen the top 8 to 12 inches of soil, where planting will occur. Work in plenty of compost to build structure and nutrient holding capacity. Compost improves sandy soils and reduces compaction in clay. Test drainage. Bulbs and mini perennials prefer well-drained beds. While some shrubs tolerate moisture sites. For heavy clay, mix in coarse sand and compost or raise the planting level to improve drainage. Well-prepared soil reduces future problems and minimizes upkeep. Plant with thought and care. Lay out plants dry first to check composition, then plant at the same depth they grew in the nursery pots, never deeper. Space plants according to mature size to avoid crowding. Crowded beds require more care and lose visual clarity. When planting bulbs, follow the depth recommendation, generally 2 to 3 times the bulb height, and plant in groups rather than single lines for natural effect. Water thoroughly at planting to settle roots and reduce transplant shock, and mulch with organic material to conserve moisture and suppress weeds while keeping mulch a couple of inches from plant crowns. Install simple, efficient irrigation and feeding routines. A soaker hose or drip irrigation under mulch delivers water to roots while minimizing waste and leaf splash that can spread disease. Water deeply and less frequently to encourage robust root systems. Check containers more often in hot spells. Use slow-release fertilizer at planting time. and supplement with light liquid feedings during peak growth if needed. Mulch beds with 2 to 3 inches of organic mulch to preserve moisture and reduce weeding. Adopt a manageable maintenance rhythm. Spend short, regular sessions, 20 to 30 minutes per week, on deadheading, light pruning, sweeping the path, and checking irrigation. Deadhead spent flowers to extend bloom, but wait to remove bulb foliage until it yellows, allowing energy to return to the bulb. Prune shrubs at appropriate times. Prune spring flowering shrubs after bloom and summer flowering shrubs in late winter or early spring. Divide overcrowded perennials every few years to restore vigor and to generate new plants for other parts of the garden. Work within a budget by phasing the project and propagating.